How's everybody doing out there tonight? We're celebrating many things here tonight. This is actually one of the things we're celebrating is Network Video, which is in Sagamore Hills, Ohio. Was in business for 30 years and they're going on at the end of this month. And this is the big end of the 30-year celebration. So I want to thank everybody that's here from Network Video. Can you raise your hands out there? Well, just to make this look really good for the video, anybody that's ever rented a video, raise your hand. Now we're tough.
So, what's going on tonight?
Hello?
Big gig. Farewell party, Network Video. 30 years. Can you believe it? 30 years.
All right.
It was definitely not easy, but I think it was something that we both knew without Scott to talk about it much, that it was like many years in the making here, and the lease is up, and it's time to be done with this chapter and to move on to something else and, you know, live a whole different life. Yeah, I'm thinking I go up by that light, make sure this gets in. So many people we say we're closing, and we're like, where is that store? I've never heard of it. 30 years, and they've never heard of it. Unless you come into Sagamore Square. And now half of Network Video kind of not lit anyhow. If you film it at night, it's Network Vid. The boys keep asking why we haven't paid to get the other lights put on in the E and the O, and I said, because it's a video store. We can't afford to get those lights put back on.
Day after the party, I survived. We're into the final blowout week. All movies $5. This is it. Everything must go. Let the fun begin. 30 years. I started owning it in 1991, and I worked for the original owners for about 5 or 6 years prior to that. So, was it 86 probably, 87, somewhere in there? Playing in a band, and then working here pretty close to full time. And I was working actually right next door here at the grocery store prior to that. My car has actually pulled into this plaza for over 35 years. After this is done, I'm going to have to go next door to the jewelry store and see if that works out. Hey, why don't you guys tell Paul what your favorite movie is that you rented here 20 times?
Spinal Tap. Oh, yes.
That's what makes me proud.
I have no idea when this video store first opened. I just remember it always being here. I remember it just being part of life, part of who we were. This was a standard weekend stop.
People didn't have the cable providers didn't cover this whole region at the time. So the video store at the time was something that was like a new frontier. And at that point, it allowed a lot of people to see movies that, you know, the networks, they weren't showing. So you got a lot of the classics. And then you got the new releases that were coming out if you didn't go to the theater. Or you went to the theater, enjoyed the movie, you've seen it again on a tape.
Friday night, you knew if you didn't get up here by 6, 7 o'clock, you know, you raced in here, and the first thing you did was stare at the shelf just to see, is there one left? Can I get my hands on that, or am I going to be waiting another day?
On a Saturday night, you'd make some sort of, you know, mom would have like popcorn and you know, Lydia. Yeah, on a Saturday night, you'd make some popcorn and grab some Kool-Aid, and everybody would sit on the floor in front of the television and have these, you know, old archaic top-loading VCRs.
Even though we'd seen him in the theater, we wanted to see him again and again and again. I remember that coming up Friday, Saturday night. It was exciting.
At least we're
The
working together
barbarians
again.
are at the gate. 30 years to build, it's taken a week to completely dismantle it. It's a shame. Somebody actually stole a couple of our movies today.
They're
How
not
sad
cheap
is
enough
that?
being 5 for 20.
What? It's
They
not
actually
cheap
stole-
enough being 5 for 20.
They were foreign movies. I'm like, really? Somebody
Really?
that wanted to watch those foreign movies actually stole those foreign movies.
How crazy is that? It was crazy. We used to have, every Saturday night, we'd have 3 people working every day, every evening. 2 during the day, 3 at night, and Friday.
Right.
During the week, we always had at least 2 every evening. New Year's Eve, we mandatory. We had 5 people working all the entire day. 2 on the floor, 3 behind the counter, and it never stopped. And the excitement and every customers were great. So I'll give you this, and then you can finagle how you want. But I don't want to put it in there; it'll be loose.
Used to come in here twice a week, every Thursday night and Saturday afternoon. And most of the time on Saturday afternoon, I end up talking to Scott for a little while about all different kinds of stuff before I leave. Yeah.
Scott and his wife Stacy and everybody that worked here, it was always such like a family atmosphere. It was like a home away from home in a way.
Get to talk to the employees about, hey, what'd you think about this movie? You kind of got your own personalized movie reviews.
We start talking about old movies, something or classics. Oh, you rented that one? Oh, that's a classic. We start talking about it, start laughing about it.
If you walked in here in sort of a foul mood, that had a bad day at work or something, you just walk in here and everything just lifted off your shoulders because you could joke around and talk about it, you know.
You'd come in here and you'd see some different faces, but for so many years, I mean, every time you came in here, you were pretty much guaranteed you were going to see Scotty because he's working 12 to 16 hours a day. I mean, when the place was open, he was here working. So, I mean, he was the face of network video.
That's the thing about Scott. I mean, he took the time out to really get with the customers and find out their interests, and went ahead and went the 9 yards or so to get the people the movies they wanted, you know.
It's like a bar atmosphere. You go there not for the movie, you go there for people that are struggling with life and relationships and death and anything going on in their life. They go there to talk to Scott. So kids that are growing up think they were like raised by Scott. Everybody goes there just to talk to him.
When kids would see me somewhere else, they'd always look like and hit their mom and like, isn't that, who is that? That's just the video guy. That's my name for the last 25 years. It's not Scott, the video guy, which that's fine. That's all right. I can adapt to that.
Everybody is a friend of Scott, and Scott makes you feel important. I think that's why network video has succeeded for so long, because he's just that outgoing personality.
And that's 1, 5, right? 3, 4, 5, yeah. That was my first business decision, hire her.
And here we are, closing together 20 years later.
And I almost
At
didn't
least we
want
get to work together again.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun these last few weeks.
I almost didn't want to start going out with her because her boyfriend worked for Domino's Pizza and he used to come in and I used to eat all his pizza. It was good.
But look
It
at
was
the
good.
irony. He used to make fun of him because I dated a pizza guy. So I think
Yeah, full circle. Now I'm going to be
I'm
making
trying
pizzas.
to do better, and now he's
It's
going
the
to go
story
back.
of my life.
I go, I'm going to end up with a pizza guy no matter how I look at
Story
it.
of my life.
All those jokes you made, now you're going to be a pizza guy.
It is full circle. And the old owner, the original owners of this place came back and bought movies off of me last week. I'm like, boy, we are full circle, aren't we?
Everybody that worked at the store, we pretty much were buddies. Yeah.
Phil was my sidekick
Yeah.
for years. Whatever I said, he would just say, oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's just
Nod
what he
your
said.
head.
That's exactly what he said. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whatever he
Yeah,
said.
he was awesome. He was my Costello, Abbott and Costello. They didn't even have to. They didn't even have to say anything. He knew exactly the line I needed to deliver it, and that was just customers or other friends or whatever. I mean, we would play off each other. It was phenomenal, awesome.
You know, Phil, he was not what you even think about expecting to see behind the desk of a movie store place. But there he was, all tattooed up, big burly guy. And you think to yourself, you know, did he just duct tape the attendant in the back?
You put him and Scott together, forget it. You didn't want to get between the two of them because you had no chance
He was about one of the sweetest, most caring people you'd ever meet, right? He would do anything for anybody at any time. There's not a week that doesn't go by that I don't somehow, in some way, see something that reminds me of Phil. And I think he's impacted a lot of people like that.
He was the best. And I still miss him to this day.
Beautiful.
Good?
Yeah, go.
Ready?
Yeah.
Actually, we've been here for 30 years. We've rented over 8,700,000 videos. And after 30 years, this is our last renting customer. He rented the last movies ever at Network Video, and he has the script card to prove it. That was our prepay card that we used to sell. You'd get 10 movies at a discounted rate. We're going to frame that card. He's the last one to ever buy the card, and he's the last person to ever rent a movie at Network Video.
12/31/11.
Not only that, he's been our best customer for the last 5 years.
Woohoo!
Then we're going on with our
Integrity,
dignity.
total integrity. It's not a failure, it's a huge accomplishment, which is what I always tried to say. You're not, like, not renewing the lease because you failed. You renewed it how many times because you succeeded. You're not failing by any sorts. You succeeded as long as you could. And he still doesn't believe it. He still thinks he could have done more.
Oh, I
He'll
still
never
think there's
be
something we
convinced.
can do to keep it going. I've always been optimistic. To this day, I think it's going to turn around. 30 years.
The whole bit.
I wish it could have went forever, though. I really like this. It's a great place. If I could just keep this going and do the band, and family's fine, everybody's happy there. If I can make enough to make a living, that's fine. I don't want to be rich. Pay everything on time. If I could do that and stay here, it would be great. And I wish I could. I wish I could stay doing it. It's fun. I love it. I don't want to do anything else.